Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping back down into the world of XRP, taking a look at what's been going on most recently, what we think is going to happen next and all that wonderful stuff. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button, I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Now if you have not yet joined us in Discord, the link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. If you are looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, why not check out that Discord server? It is the centralized hub of everything Cheeky Crypto. We are looking at launching our Elliott Wave Theory video course, and that will also be communicated out via the Discord server. There's a whole host of additional benefits to the Discord server, specifically for the Patreon members as well, link in the description below, where we offer a lot more, such as AMAs twice weekly, project reviews, trading, and what Chris and myself are up to in terms of buying, selling, and staking. So if any of that sounds of interest to you, make sure you head down into that Discord server. Okay, let's make a start with XRP though, right? So XRP paired up with USDT here on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. Now, following on briefly from yesterday's video, we could see that we did indeed finish our C wave down lower here. We didn't fall back any lower. But we did actually push a little bit higher than I was expecting, because in my mind I was expecting this to be a little bit deeper of a ABC structure, right? So we'd have three waves in our A wave here, for example, would go up in three waves. I wasn't expecting it not to go higher than this C wave here, this origin here, and then come back down a little bit deeper before we have the opportunity to kind of rally. Now, instead what's gone on is we've come down here and we've started to move up quite a bit. So let's go ahead and dissect down what this looks like, right? Because it's a little bit different as to what I thought was going to happen, but you know, these things happen in crypto, right? It's unpredictable at times. So what we want to do is we want to kind of just get our thoughts together as to kind of what's gone on and what this might mean. So we can see this potentially just as three waves, and it hasn't finished yet. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at this with this high point and this low point. And this could be the low, might not be done yet, so we'll see. Okay, and basically a push up. So this would look like this. It would go up, it would come down, and then just rally up a little bit here into this 47.56. Okay, that's kind of one wave count. And, you know, it's quite a difficult one because there's a couple of other kind of scenarios that I can see. And because it kind of went up higher than this level here, let me just go put a line on there. Since we wicked up higher than this area, it becomes an interesting zone for me. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to kind of put in here this little area, this little box, okay? This box here is basically where the sellers are at the moment, okay? We can see that with this side, and we can see that over here. We closed below this area, and we've wicked into it. So this tells me that there's a lot of buying, a lot of selling pressure up in that area. As I pull it across here, and you can see that it has been reasonably consistent across the history, but not terribly too consistent, but just a little bit there. So there's something in it on this side, but I think if we just focus here for now, it'll allow us to understand that this is probably reasonably weak. We could probably push our way through it. My concerns actually come in more with XRP around this level. So we can come up here, do this, for example, we can have that three wave, but we don't really see three waves here. So we could actually be breaking down from this area, and we can come up, maybe retest it and then pull back. Okay, that's also an option. So there's a couple of things we kind of want to be a little bit cautious with. Now, also, this particular area would be of interest on that, and that would be forming out a head and shoulder patterns. So for example, if I come in, if I can get my mouse to actually be stabilized for a second here, we come up into a right shoulder, we come up into the head, we pull this, actually I can't put it there, so I pull this up here, down to here, for example. So we'd have to pull this down into this kind of range here. I don't like it, it's not neat by any stretch of the imagination. So I could also be looking at it incorrectly. We could be looking at it from down here, and maybe this is now testing a neckline. But there's a lot of things that are reasonable of interest here. So just be a little bit cautious. You know, there's a couple of different ways that Elliott Wave Theory can play out. The head and shoulder pattern might not even have completed the head, and in which case, you know, it would be a much neater if we would do something like this, and we'd just come up into the head, we pull back down somewhere around here, push up again, and then pull back. That would be a much neater kind of scenario, but obviously we'd break down that a lot further. So there's interesting kind of stuff. So looking at this, we kind of completed three down, we completed three up, but we can't see three down. So just be aware that we might pull back a little bit deeper here, and you know, basically see some downward price action. Now, the stochastic RSIs complicate this a little bit. Because what we've got is an oversold stochastic RSI on the 1 hour chart, and the 8 hours overbought, the weekly is overbought. So we do know that we have to move down quite a bit, and there's a long kind of way to the downside to kind of have for XRP. That's obviously controversial. People don't like to hear that, but essentially the data is what the data is. Right? It's telling us that essentially it's overbought and people are going to start selling off. Now, you combine Elliott wave theory with a stochastic RSI or a relative strength index, and you kind of get a good idea as to kind of how things are going. Now, Elliott wave theory is tracking the sentiment, so it's basically tracking the behavior of people and crowds of people and the social behavior behind the price action. So what we're doing is we're tracking people's behavior, and people's behavior is indicating to us that essentially things are not looking that strong. Couple this with a stochastic RSI, which is indicating to us that actually running out of momentum to the upside and reversals are likely. We should be concerned, right? We can't ignore these kind of signs within the data. The data is telling us to be concerned. With that being said, however, the lawsuit is a variable that we have to consider. That particular variable is one that could completely, ignore the stochastic RSI elements, and we could just solely focus on the Elliott wave theory. Okay, now I'm going to draw this in. This here is an area of previous resistance come support. So if we had to come back down, this is where we're going to be looking, okay? So let's just kind of go through these things, okay? So this area of support is going to be coming in down here, 44.97 up to a little bit higher of around 45.27. On the higher side, obviously, where our resistances are currently coming in is 46.9, and on the slightly higher side, we've got that at 47.3. Okay, so until one of these is broken, we will consider this ranging market going sideways here. Okay, let's just check that 4 hour chart. Yeah, we've got some progression to the downside. So it could be that actually all of this is something that we are going to be pulling back down into our lower range for. Okay, and this is a range that we were talking about not that long ago. We did come down into this range, and at the moment it looks like we might have to revisit it. Okay, and again, that's 41.14 to 43.72. So for the most part, until this is broken, we're ranging, and obviously we know where the supports and the resistance lines are, or where the buyers are, or were specifically, and where the sellers were, and obviously where this major area of basically buyers are lining up. Okay, so knowing these things are really, really important, and understanding whether or not we are going to be talking about big moves to the downside, and if something holds, then we expect to move up, and if something breaks, then we're going to fall down lower, right? Pretty basic. So knowing these things is important. Right, so for XRP here, looking at it and considering we've got some upward directional move, I'm thinking the most probable is probably going to be something like this, and we come on down, okay, and we're probably going to break this area. Now we might come down and just test it as support. That's also possible. I'm looking at these candles, and this one here is of interest to me, this one, because this is a engulfing bearish candle right here. Okay, so this one is indicating that we might have a retest. So now these things are not like big signals to say that you're going to fall down massively at these points, but these are interesting candles. Okay, these basically are telling us a story. They're telling us that we potentially want to be concerned. Now, knowing that the support level is down here, knowing that this is a bearish engulfing candle, tells us that we might end up just retesting this low area just a fraction more. And we are just about in the oversold area, so it wouldn't surprise me if we do correct down a little bit lower, and we finish off this little A wave here before bouncing on up. Now, with this, there would be a test, which we haven't really had just yet, and well, I suppose we kind of did with this wick here. I guess we could argue we would have had like this little slither just here, and basically you retest this area before pulling back. So that's kind of already met its kind of expectations to a degree. So I'm quite happy with think that isn't going to be a major problem for us. And I'm looking for like bullish engulfing candles, and yeah, there's one over here, for example. This one was pretty good. And other than that, there isn't terribly too much. I mean, with the bearish engulfing here. And yeah, so there aren't many of them in this space. There's another bullish one right there, but obviously we break right down from it, so again looking interesting. So yeah, for the most part, it's looking like we're probably going to come back down, retest this area of support, then try to push up into the upper area. Again, just ranging sideways until one of these breaks down. I think that at some point, though, we are going to break the upper area, but we're probably going to have to come back down and retest some of these lows first. Okay, so for XRP, my expectations are we come back down somewhere between 44.97, 45.27, as you can start to see it breaking down now at the point of recording. And then we rally up a little bit. Maybe we won't even reach that higher area. There's other areas of interest right around here at about 46.5, and then break on down, lose this area of support, and come in, head down towards our lows down here. And in this low range could be our support being found again for the next move to the upside. And again, we can liken this to a bit of a head and shoulder pattern if we want to, and we'll be able to kind of, acknowledge that break of the neckline and so forth. So I think I'm going to leave the video there, but do join us down in Discord if you're looking for more. We actually cover so much more in that Discord server. It's unbelievable the amount of value you can get from the Patreon services in that Discord server. But of course, the Discord server is for free and it is available for everyone. There's just different channels for different kinds of memberships. So guys, with all that said, done out of the way, have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.